Okay, it's 7 o'clock, and I'd like to call the June 16th regular board meeting to order. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance first, and then we'll do roll call. Okay?
Okay.
All right. I pledge allegiance
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, guys. Can we get roll call, please?
Sure. Mr. Canning?
here.
Mrs. Gleason?
Here.
Mr. Johnson?
Here.
Mrs. Campworth here. Ms. Stearns?
Here.
Mr. Whitcomb?
Here.
Mrs. Ressler?
Here. All right. Ms. Campworth, do we have any comments from the public?
I do not. Tiffany, did you have anything? No.
Okay. Moving on. Can I get an approval for the May 12th, 2020 regular and closed meeting minutes?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Canning, second by Ms. Gleason. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Canning?
Aye.
Mrs. Gleason?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mrs. Campworth, aye. Ms. Stearns?
Aye.
Mr. Whitcomb?
Aye.
Mrs. Ressler?
Aye. Item 4.1, the superintendent report.
Freedom of Information Act request since our last board meeting. Jonathan Fagg, ABC 7 Data, requested access to a copy and breakdown of attendance rates by school, details of how attendance is being tracked from when remote learning began until the most current date available upon production. This request has been completed. Susanna Price, DM Construction Services, Inc., requested copies of 2 bonds for Hillcrest Tinley Park and Oak Forest Bremen. This request has also been completed. I don't have much to report. We're still waiting from guidance from the state to figure out how we're going to open school next year. So hopefully that comes out within the next week or so, and we'll start our plans for the 2021 school year. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Dr. Kendall. Item 4.2, do we have any board member reports? Nope. Okay. Moving on to item 5, new business. Brittany, item 5.1, Brittany Morrison.
Item 5.1 pertains to the bills, addendum to bills, payroll, and CDS bills. These items are being recommended for full board approval.
So moved.
Second. Oh, go ahead, TJ. Yep.
Moved by Ms. Gleason, second by Mr. Whitcomb. Any discussion?
I have a few questions. This is Kim. I'm seeing there that we've got kitchen and cafeteria remodel and additions at all sites. Are we starting something new? Which cafeterias are getting a remodel?
The bills that you see for that are actually what we're paying for the drawings that we had done. We're not starting anything officially yet, but because we were originally planning on doing it, we were talking about doing it this upcoming summer. We had drawings made for it, so that's what we're paying for. But no, we're not paying for any work or anything other than that.
Okay, yeah, because I thought that all that work was going to be paused for this upcoming year.
It is, but we just have to pay for all of the drawings that were done when we were still originally planning on doing it.
Okay. Gotcha. Thank you for that. And then, Brittany, can you just kind of talk to me about the Constellation Energy bills? Like Hillcrest is at 51,000 this month. Why is it so high? We don't
Sure.
have any building.
So the Constellation bills are actually, some of them are sent in quarters instead of months. So it's not always broken down by a monthly bill. So you might see that for
Right, because May we were at 48,000 and now June we're at 125. So
right.
that's
So sometimes
quite a jump.
Constellation is also they're part of our IUPCR purchasing cooperative for energy. So it's in the way that they bill us for it. So for some schools it's set up by, and then occasionally what'll happen is they'll bill us for that current quarter plus maybe 1 month of the next one. So it's just in the timing of the way release it. But yeah, it's not broken down by month necessarily.
So are we kind of catching up then? Because shouldn't it be a little lower with us not having anyone in the building since March, even if we are being billed quarterly?
Right. Yeah, it is just us catching up from that, but also because we still have, HVAC systems running and things like that. That's what the natural gas bill is for. So we do have, air conditioning still people in the building. We had the lunch people in the cafeterias, things like that. So we haven't completely shut them off, which is why you're still going to see a bill for it.
Okay.
Okay, thanks for that. And then one last thing, the Sodeco bill for office supplies for the ad center for March, April, and May, $56,000. What, can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes. So these Sodexo bills right now, I put them from our ad center supply account just so I knew where they're going to. We're going to be reimbursed for those lunches. So I didn't want to charge it to a school necessarily, just because, like I said, we're going to get reimbursed for that. The March, April, May bills that you're looking at that total the 56,000, those are for all of the lunches that we've handed out to students during the COVID time. So we had lunches available for students to pick up Monday through Friday. And then on Fridays, we also had the option for the students to pick up lunches for the weekends. So those are our bills for those lunches that we've handed out.
Okay. That's all I have. Thank you very much.
Brittany,
Yes.
the only one that was supposed to get reconstructed was Bremen, wasn't it? Cafeteria?
No, all of the cafeterias and kitchens were going to get a remodel. Bremen's was a little bit different because we were originally discussing doing a remodel with the band room also. So, but yeah, all 4 kitchens were supposed to get the remodel.
Well, Bremen had an expansion.
Right.
Bremen had something more, right? Because they had an expansion, is that right?
Correct.
Yes. So is that still going to happen?
Right now, all of the construction projects have been paused, like Ms. Campworth mentioned earlier. So we don't have an official start date for them. They're still on the 7-year capital plan, but in light of everything that's happened, we have decided to put a hold on all major capital projects right now.
Okay. Did we get the 800,000 from, what's that fund that Ms. Gleason go to?
Oh, the interest earnings?
What's the name of the fund? What is that called again?
I believe you're talking about the interest earnings that Ms. Gleason was referring to that Joe McDonald had told her about last month. And yes, we have posted that to our ledger for last month.
Okay. When we used to get updates on this and nice handouts and everything, when is that going to happen?
I'm not exactly sure what you're referring to. Handouts on what?
Well, they used to give us a little presentation on how much money we had in there. And
so Joe McDonald used to do a presentation. We can ask him to come out sometime. when we get
Oh.
back live, if that's what the board would like.
Sure. Yeah, he would be available to do that for sure.
We haven't done
Yeah.
it in a couple
I
years.
think we should buy him lunch for all the money he made us. He did a good job.
Mhm.
We can put that on the
Yeah.
agenda.
Mark, I have some of those that I can forward to you if you want.
Oh, sure. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other questions or comments before we take vote? All right, roll call, please.
Okay, Mrs. Gleason,
Aye.
Mr. Whitcomb,
Aye.
Mr. Canning,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mrs. Campworth, aye. Ms. Stearns,
Aye.
Mrs. Wrestler.
Aye.
Item 5.2 is the Athletico contract renewal for athletic trainers in fiscal years 2021 through 2023. The rate for fiscal year 2021 will be $103,848 with a rate increase for fiscal years 22 and 23 to be linked to CPI and not to exceed 3%. This item is being recommended for full board approval.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Whitcomb, second by Ms. Gleason. Any discussion?
Just a question, since we don't really know what's going on with athletics this coming year, is that a flat amount or is it still an hourly rate that would fluctuate if we don't have full participation?
So
I know
is,
Supposed to practice with them and all that, but
right. So there is language in the actual contract that I asked to be specifically added in case of an event where sports are not going to be happening as planned. And the way it'll work is as long as the district notifies Athletico within 30 days, they'll prorate our amount owed based on the date that we tell them we're not going to be rendering their services. So we will not pay the flat rate. For example, if football season doesn't happen, then we would not be paying the full amount for our first installment. It'll be prorated based on the day that we tell them we no longer need them.
okay, great. Thank you.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Whitcomb,
Aye.
Mrs. Gleason,
Aye.
Mr. Canning,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mrs. Campworth, aye. Ms. Stearns,
Aye.
Mrs. Wrestler.
Aye.
Item 5.3 is the Sodexo contract renewal for fiscal years 2021 through 2025. The district has negotiated the agreement to include a $90,000 investment from Sodexo to purchase various new kitchen equipment. At the end of the 5-year contract, all the equipment purchased will become the property of District 228. This item is being recommended for full board approval.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Canning, second by Ms. Gleason. Any discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Canning,
Aye.
Mrs. Gleason,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mrs. Campworth, aye. Ms. Stearns,
Aye.
Mr. Whitcomb,
Aye.
Mrs. Wrestler.
Aye. Item 5.4.
Item 5.4 is the July 2020 health and dental insurance renewals. This is the first time in several years that the district has seen a decrease in both the HMO and PPO plan. The PPO rate has decreased by 2.7% and the HMO plan has decreased by 0.8%. There will also be no change for the dental renewal rate. This item is being recommended for full board approval.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Whitcomb, second by Ms. Gleason. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Whitcomb,
Aye.
Mrs. Gleason,
Aye.
Mr. Canning,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mrs. Campworth, aye. Ms. Stearns,
Aye.
Mrs. Wrestler.
Aye. Item 5.5.
Item 5.5 is the July 2020 property and casualty insurance renewal. The total rate of renewal is $501,760 and will remain with our current carrier, Liberty Mutual. While this renewal is a total increase of approximately 15%, this year's rate does include the additional property coverage for field house additions and all other completed capital construction projects that have happened over the past year. This item is being recommended for full board approval.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Canning, second by Ms. Gleason. Any discussion?
How much is the insurance company insuring our buildings for?
The new buildings will be insured at a total property value of approximately $41 million. That also includes all of the landscaping on the outside, all of the equipment, the weight rooms, all the new classrooms and everything like that as well. So that all goes with the new property.
It's $41 million for the buildings or the entire school?
That is for the new construction.
So let me get this right. So if the main building burns down, are we insured for that?
Yeah.
At what cost? What is? Maybe I'm not making sense.
I can pull, I don't know the exact number off the top of my head, including all of the actual buildings. The 41 million I know is just the additional field house and construction, but I can pull the full number for including all of the buildings as well. I just don't know it off the top of my head.
Mm.
But yes, it would cover if the building burned down.
Okay. I mean, all right.
Typically, isn't it whatever the market value to replace the building would be? Is that what we're covered for?
Yes, and actually, since we just switched to Liberty Mutual, they had an appraiser come out and they did a full appraisal of each building. So everything is up to date and fully covered with new amounts.
Okay.
Great.
Mm.
Any other questions or discussion regarding 5.5? Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Canning?
Aye.
Mrs. Gleason?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
All right.
Mrs. Camworth, aye. Ms. Stearns?
Aye.
Mr. Whitcomb?
Aye.
Mrs. Ressler?
Aye. All right, moving on to item 5.6.
Item 5.6 is the fall 2020 athletic bid results from the May 19th, 2020 bid, totaling $35,065.11. This item is being recommended for full board approval.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Gleason, second by Ms. Camworth. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Gleason?
Aye.
Mrs. Camworth, aye. Mr. Canning?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
All right.
Ms. Stearns?
Aye.
Mr. Whitcomb?
Aye.
Mrs. Ressler?
Aye. Thank you very much. Item 5.7, Dr. Williams.
Item 5.7 is our consolidated district plan. This plan takes into consideration all of our grant funding sources and puts them into one application. And we are going to continue focusing on our three major goals, which are reducing the achievement gap, increasing health and social emotional learning and support, and increasing professional collaboration and development within and across the schools. Data has been updated where appropriate, and the entire plan was provided for your review. The superintendent is recommending this plan for full board approval.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Canning, second by Ms. Gleason. Any discussion?
I have just one question, and maybe it's a silly question, but the name of this consolidated district plan, it almost sounds like we're consolidating with other districts.
Sure, it was seen that way, but what it actually means, so in the past, I would write one plan for Title I and Title II, and Lisa would write her own plan for IDEA, and then Maureen Miller would write a plan for ELL. And so what they're trying to do is take all of these federal funding sources and make sure that we're not overlapping and that we're meeting every student's need in the best way possible. And so that's all it means is they're consolidating all these different applications into one major application for the district.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And I read through the whole thing. It's a wonderful plan. I just want to make sure we weren't talking about incorporating with any of the
No.
feeder districts.
No,
Yeah.
no, they all have their own plans to do. Yep, this is just ours.
Okay. Very good.
Yep.
Thank you.
No problem.
Any other questions or comments regarding item 5.7? Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Canny,
Aye.
Mrs. Gleason,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mrs. Camworth, aye. Ms. Stearns,
Aye.
Mr. Whitcomb,
Aye.
Mrs. Ressler.
Aye. Okay. Moving on to item 6, personnel recommendation, Dr. Goggins.
Under retirement, Cheryl Harris Samita and Mark Pattison. Under resignation, Nadine Call. Maternity leave, Brittany Morrison. Under employment, Thomas Kocher, Amy DeForti, Allison McGarry, Mark DeWitt, and Rachel Montez Curley, and Heather Kajewski. Under change of position, Kathleen Arundel. These are being recommended to the full board for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Whitcomb, second by Ms. Gleason. Any discussion?
Just a question. Congratulations, Brittany, on the birth of your twins. And
Wow. Yeah.
who will be handling this while you're on leave?
Yeah, that was my question too, Ev. Yep.
So Steve Langert, who we used,
Oh, okay.
we'll be bringing Steve to the July meeting for approval, but we've already talked to him and he's in the bullpen ready to go.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Brittany.
Any other questions or comments regarding personnel recommendations?
The guy for the gym teacher at Hillcrest.
Yeah.
What's the question, Mark?
If he wanted to, he could press to be the head coach. Is that correct?
According to the union contract, he could apply for it.
He could apply for it.
Correct.
Ain't that something? So if he applies for it, what happens?
There'd be, he would have the opportunity to apply for it. We would have a committee together and determine whether he would be appropriate for it.
So y'all were putting together a committee.
That's a what if, Mark. That's not part of any discussion we've had at this point.
Well, you know, y'all did that mess back in 2010 when that black head coach over at the Hillcrest got those guys winning 2 state championships. And Lisa told me, well, I got to hire this guy to take over the program, and the program never returned back to where it was. I just try to make sure that it's on the record that you said that he could apply for the job. So he's actually a threat to Mr. Weaver, isn't it?
I can't answer that.
Okay. That's fair with you.
I think what he's trying to refer to is that the language in the contract says teachers get like first right.
There is language in the union contract, correct.
So he is a threat to Morgan.
What does that mean, threat? I don't understand what that means.
Is it an open position right now?
Every year, but according to the union contract, positions that are outside of the JFA contract are posted. There's, to my knowledge, no discussion that that's what he was hired for or anything along those lines. So this is just speculation at this point. He's the recommended candidate for a PE job.
But the current
Okay.
football coach is not a staff teacher, is that correct? Is that what Mark said?
Correct.
Do we have any inside internal applicants for the math supervisor position?
Good, no.
Corey?
No.
Sorry, I was on mute. No, we did not.
Deb, what was your question again?
If we had any inside applicants for the math supervisor?
Okay, any other questions regarding 6.1 through 6.11?
Now that teacher, that person that's being handled as a bookkeeper for Tinley Park, does all the schools have a bookkeeper?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And we paying them like 57 grand each?
No. Katie Arundel was the bookkeeper at Tinley Park. She's going to be the executive secretary to the principal.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Can we get roll call, please?
Mr. Whitcomb,
Aye.
Mrs. Gleason,
Aye.
Mr. Canning,
Aye.
Mr. Johnson,
Aye.
Mrs. Camworth, aye. Ms. Stearns,
Aye.
Mrs. Wrestler.
Aye. Thank you very much. Can I get a motion to go to closed session to consider information regarding probable or imminent litigation?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Whitcomb, second by Mr. Canning. Roll call, please.
Mr. Whitcomb,
Aye.
Mr. Canning,
Aye.
Aye.
Mrs. Gleason,
Aye.
Mrs. Camworth, aye. Ms. Stearns,
Aye.
Mrs. Wrestler.
Aye. All right, guys, we'll see you in closed session.
Okay.
Evelyn and Larry, are you all still in this session?
I'm trying to get out. What am I doing wrong here, Tiffany?
I think you can just hang up and then click on the link that Jim sent for the closed session.
All right, that's what I gotta try to do. Okay, so I got board meeting. I need to get out of this one.
Yeah, so in the middle of the screen at the bottom, there's three icons. The little hang up phone icon. Yeah, there you go.
Larry?
Same thing for you, Larry. Oh, wait.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, Evelyn's on her way to this.
Yeah.
So just so everyone knows, right now we are technically streaming the video of this, but the audio is muted, so no one can hear us. But it is being recorded. Test. And thanks for that message, by the way.
I wasn't sure if you were paying attention to everybody clicking off, so I thought I would tell you.
I get like a little bloop when there's a chat, so.
I think we're just waiting for her. She was on, but she clicked back.
Do we have Mark?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yep.
Okay. So we're just waiting for Evelyn?
Yep.
Tiffany, did you reach out to her?
I'm actually doing that right now.
Okay, thanks.
Is that you, Evelyn?
It is.
Okay, we got her.
All right, great. Thank you very much. Okay, so all we're really here to do is to go ahead and close or adjourn our meetings. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Christine, do we need to return to open?
I'm sorry, do we need to what? I'm
We need
sorry,
to
you're
return
right.
to open first.
That's right. Can I get a motion to open, come back to open session?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by TJ, second by Ms. Campworth. Can I get roll call, please?
Okay, Mr. Whitcomb?
Aye.
Mrs. Campworth, aye. Mr. Canning?
His mic's still off.
He's muted. Larry? Okay, I see that. Okay, Mrs. Gleason?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Ms. Stearns?
Her mic's off too.
Okay. Mrs. Ressler?
Aye.
I am muted. Aye.
Thank you, Debbie. And now can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
You're not gonna read the announcement?
The announcement? We don't
Yeah,
have an
don't-
we don't have an announcement, Mark. Not today.
Oh.
You mean as far as the next meeting? It's actually not listed here, but I think
I think we're going to try to be in person on the next one, aren't we?
That's certainly a possibility. If we go to phase 4, we would go back to having in-person board meetings.
Okay.
We'll let you know.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mark. All right, moved by Mr. Whitcomb, second by Ms. Gleason. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, guys, have a wonderful evening. Thank you very much.
All right. Good seeing all of you.
Aye.
Too.
Good night.